Hey guys, in today's vlog, I'm gonna take you to my adventure in making this wrap skirt. I purchased this pattern years ago and it has been sitting in my drawer for a while, so I'm very excited to try this out today. On the back side of the envelope here, we can see all the size chart. Also the suggested fabric. This pattern is on the smaller side though, so don't go with your regular size but rather check with the measurement chart here. So you just want to go by the waist and hip measurements. Down here you can see the suggested fabrics. There are many variations you can choose from, so this is pretty versatile. For the style here, I'm going to choose style C, which is the knee length style. Although I think I'm going to cut the hem allowance a little shorter, about 2 inches shorter or so. And I will also skip the pockets. When I work with commercial pattern, I always like to trace the pattern with tracing paper, so that I can spare the original pattern just in case I want to come back with different style or different size. So here I've already cut all of my skirt panels, so in total there will be 4 panels, 2 panels for the back and 2 panels for the front. And of course don't forget to transfer all the notches and any marking. And here is the waistband. I apply some lightweight interfacing on the wrong side of the waistband, just like instructed in the pattern. For the skirt ties, I decided to use the cotton quilting fabric. Now instead of using the pattern template, I simply measure the length and the width from the pattern and then cut accordingly. Okay, the first step on making this skirt is to press the hem allowance of the front edge, so this unnotched edge here. According to the direction, you're supposed to press 1/4 of an inch under and then stitch along the edges of the fold. But since I'm using knit fabric which wouldn't fray, I'm gonna skip that and simply stitch along the edges. Here I've already hemmed both of my front panels. I use narrow zigzag stitch to do this job since I'm working with knit fabric here. The next step will be to stitch all the skirt panels together, starting from the back panels. Pin the center back of the skirt back panels right sides together, matching the notches, and then stitch along the center back. For this pattern, the seam allowances are 5/8 of an inch. Still stitching with the narrow zigzag stitch using my walking presser foot here, which is the perfect setting for me when I work with knit fabric. So this is how the skirt back panel should look like. Now I'm gonna go to my serger to finish the raw edges. Now let's sew the front panels. Lay one panel right side down, matching the side seam and the notches, and then stitch along the side seams. Now let's join the remaining front panel. And there you go, my skirt panel is done. I've already serged the raw edges and also pressed the seams. The next step will be to attach the waistband to the skirt panel. So first we're gonna need to press one of the long side, the one without the notches. You want to press it down towards the wrong side, about 5/8 of an inch. Now you want to pin the long side of the waistband, the one with the notches, to the skirt panel with the right sides facing together, matching all the notches and the markings. So there should be excess fabric of the waistband on both ends, about 1/2 inch or so, just like shown here. So here I've already stitched my waistband in place. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna serge along the edges there to neaten the raw edges and simultaneously trim off the seam allowances. And after that, I'm gonna press the seams towards the waistband as per the instructions. Next, we're gonna work on the skirt ties. So you wanna fold the strip lengthwise in half, just like that, and then press, and then stitch along the open edges, leaving an opening on one of the short side. Now let's trim off the corner. This is the stitch corner, and then I'm gonna turn this strip right side out. First, I'm gonna separate the fabric a little bit to create a little room there, and then using my pen, I'm just gonna push the edge of the fabric. It may be a little finicky in the beginning, but as you get it going, it's getting easier. So I'm just gonna keep pushing the pen and at the same time pulling the fabric, just like that. And then grab the tip of the pen with the fabric and then just pull the fabric through. Now I'm just gonna go and press this. I've already pressed and top stitched my tie, so I'm gonna work the same for the other one. Next, we're gonna attach the skirt ties to the waistband. So I position the skirt tie on the lower part of the waistband, right above the seam there. Here I've got my left tie pinned to the left side of the waistband, matching the raw edges. Now I'm gonna pin the right tie to the right side of the waistband, just the same way. And then base stitch this about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Fold the waistband in half, right sides together. Make sure that the top edge is in the folded position, just like that. And then stitch right along the seam allowances there. Alright, so the edge of the waistband should look just like this. Now let's flip this to the right side, and you should end up with something like this. And I've already sewn the opposite side as well. Next, we're gonna bring the top pressed edge of the waistband, bring it down over the seams, just like that, and then pin on the right side. Alright guys, here I've already pinned my waistband in place. Now I'm gonna go back to my sewing machine and stitch right along the edges of the seam there. I still use the same setting of the narrow zigzag stitch due to the fabric being the knit fabric. If I would have done this all over again, I would have used the woven fabric for the waistband, the same kind that I use for the ties. I think it would have been much easier, but I managed to make this work, so I'm very happy with that. Now I'm going to make the buttonhole according to the marking from the waistband. So we're going to use this buttonhole to insert the left tie so that the skirt will stay secured in place. The last step is to hem the skirt. So as usual, I like to use this knit stay tape when I hem knit fabric. Here I've already applied the tape about 1/4 inch away from the edge. When I hem the skirt, I simply fold the raw edges towards the wrong side, simply following the line of the tape, and then stitch about 1/2 inch away from the folded edge. Super simple. And voila, my wrap skirt is done, and I am very happy with the result. The skirt turns out lovely and really comfortable. I think I'm gonna make a couple more of this skirt in the future. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, goodbye.